You talk, reflecting back on your history in commerce, what do you think were the keys to your success? What were the values that were very important to making you successful?
Well, they're very simplistic. I've always felt that anything I'm doing, I want to try to do it a little better than the guy across the street. I would just say if somebody said, well, how did you do this and somebody else didn't? I am a risk taker, and I try to be prudent about the risk, but being a risk taker, you're going to lose a few more, maybe, than if you played on the safe side all the way. It works to the point to where if you got enough solid base to where you've got cash flow to see that you can manage your core businesses, then you can take that excess and go to the edge and look for it. And that's what I've always done. And the only thing really has changed in the way I do things than when I was 10 years old is just the scope increases. Mm-hmm. But I do things about the same way.
Yeah. Speaking of when you were 10 years old, you seem to be able to learn from your mistakes. One of your first business ventures, the Spur Peanut Company, had a flaw in its business model. Do you care to share that story with us and what you learned from it?
Well, when I was 10 years old, at our little town, our little 3-block Main Street, there were several people that would set up food booths and clothing booths and different things to sell to the itinerant cotton pickers that would come into town on Saturday afternoons and Sundays. And I decided that there may be a market for roasted peanuts. I persuaded my father to get me a 100-pound sack from the wholesale grocery store up in Lubbock, and sacked up my peanuts and sold them for a nickel a bag, and had a milk bucket full of nickels, and thought I was rich. And at the end of the 4th week, I emptied all the nickels out, counted them up, stacked them up, and when I got through, I had barely enough to pay for my base product. And I knew immediately where my mistake was. So I realized that I didn't get my markup on my product. I hadn't figured that out. But I put half as many peanuts in the bag the next time. And I had 2 milk buckets full, and one of them paid for the peanuts, and I got the other one. But cash flow is the name of the game. It is now.